So this question comes a lot, that what has got my past, my upbringing, or even my ancestors to do with my money frequency and my wealth consciousness? And this is a really important question, because what we want to understand is that each of us have a consciousness, what we accept to be true about ourselves. And that consciousness is heavily created, like heavily constructed from between the ages of since we were born till 12 years of age. So when you were little and you were sleeping as a baby and you couldn't even understand what anybody was saying, your conscious mind wasn't developed, but your subconscious was there. It was listening and everything was getting recorded. So your past has got a lot to do with your money consciousness. So the way I teach this is like, we learned our native language, right? So that whatever language you speak, that's your native language. You can speak it easily. It comes natural to you because you have grown up around that language. Similarly, you learned a language about money. And that language is really, really specific. So if you experienced in your childhood your parents worrying about money, or the feeling of or fear of money running out, or worrying about the bills to pay, or there were these conversations, or sometimes you saw people fighting, or you were told money doesn't grow on trees, it's so hard to earn, all those things were programmed into you naturally, and they became the part of your wealth consciousness. So like your language comes very natural to you, these things come very natural to you, they're the part of your conscious awareness. So when you are so used to and programmed to feel these feelings and live with these feelings and experience those feelings, what starts to happen is that you end up creating those feelings, because the feeling of abundance and feeling of having so much money, more than you know to do with, sometimes can be foreign if you don't practice the feeling. So if you have always seen your parents like having this feeling of money running out or fighting over money, then you are used to the feeling of money running out. So you habitually, sometimes it doesn't come natural to you how to create a reality in your life where there is a lot of money, more money than you know what to do with. So what happens is that the people who experience certain levels of wealth, they end up creating the same level of wealth, because that is the habitual feeling they're used to. That becomes the part of their consciousness, because they've been exposed to that reality. That becomes the frame of how they see the world, and then they end up creating, acting, feeling, and thinking on autopilot in alignment with that. So the most beautiful way, the most beautiful tool to really come out of that and start to rewrite your money story is to ask yourself, how would I behave? How would I feel? How would I think? How would I act if there was unlimited supply of money? How would I behave? If money was coming to me all the time, if I had access to the unlimited supply, because the truth is that you have, from your skull, there is a formless energy. So Semyon Kurlian, who was a Russian photographer who took these pictures and who mastered this photography, where he could take the pictures of rays, like white energy entering your skull and moving through your body, and that is the creative energy within you, and that has unlimited supply, and that energy can transmute into anything you want. So when you're saying that I would love to create more money, if you think abundance, if you feel abundant, if you are abundant, you are creating from abundance. Now the problem is that when we are told this, that oh, just feel the feeling, this, just think you're abundant, you are like, how do I feel the feeling? Like, I cannot stay with the feeling. And some people tell you, oh, I just made a decision and then I manifest this money, and you're like, I really want it, but what is this decision making? Like, how does it all work? So what we want to understand is that staying with the feeling, acting as if already there, or operating in alignment, or feeling the feeling, all these things are the byproduct and are phenomena of mental transmutation, and there is a whole science behind it. It is not just you just decide I'm going to feel the feeling and then you feel the feeling all the time, because there is a mental program that is running and that's controlling you, how you think, how you feel, how you act, and that controls you 98%. And when you're saying, I'm just going to feel the feeling, it keeps pulling you back. So what you want to do is you want to go through reprogramming and mental transformation of your subconscious, which involves identity work, because money is not just a mindset issue, it's a body issue, it's an identity issue, it stores in your body. So even feeling the feeling of money running out, if I ask you to feel right now, like imagine that money's running out, imagine that you have less money and you have bills to pay, all of a sudden you have these sensations in your body. You might feel tightness in your throat, you might feel sensation in your heart, or you might feel a bit of feeling, a kick in your stomach. Those feelings are stored in the body. So actually it's not happening because those feelings are stored, you can still tap into those feelings and they're there. So these feelings and traumas are stored in your body. And what you start to do is you start to uncover your identity. So you look at your results and you say, okay, this is what my current identity. Now you start to uncover your patterns and your beliefs. In my signature program, Wealth Fountain, we use 5 powerful tools in the breakthrough method where we uncover, right? And one of the questions you can ask yourself is, who am I? Like, what do I really think of me? How do I see me? Right? And you start to really uncover your money story, and how do you see money, and how do you see yourself, and what is true. So start asking these probing questions. If I feel it's hard to earn money, why? What makes me feel that way? What is my experience? What are my beliefs? What my beliefs about myself? So when you start to embody the identity, like when you start to replace those beliefs and identity, and you start to really process those feelings in your body first before replacing the beliefs, because if you just process the feelings, you're just doing at the mindset level, you're just visualizing, you're just feeling it, you're not dealing with the body, where it's there, where the feelings are stored. They're literally like stored like your blocks, like, when you have those bruises, they're like that, they're blocking the flow of money. And when you start to process them, that means you go back in that time and you feel it, and you start to really lose you let the energy release, you feel that thing, you process it. And how do you know that you processed it? That means there's nothing else to be felt, like you feel quite neutral about that. When you feel neutral, then you start to add more beliefs, more identities, like, how do I really see myself as a match for money? Like, who do I need to be? And that being is about seeing yourself differently. So my most abundant version would have the belief that money always comes, and I'm so relaxed about money, and when I'm seeing my bank account, I feel abundant. And when I am and I know that I'm a match for a lot of money, I get compensated a lot for my work, I attract money unexpectedly, or from all sorts of places, I become a match for money with a lot of ease. So it's not about the hard work that I do. It's not about working hard or long hours. It's about who I am. So the work that I do effortlessly, which comes natural to me, which is as easy and effortless like breathing, the more money I make. So when you start to have that identity and you start to activate that identity, that's when you start to become a match for money and you change your money story. So the key step is to first figure out what that story is, process it at a body level, and then replace it with a new story and start to connect emotionally with it. Because the way it goes in your body is it starts with a thought, then it becomes a feeling. And if you stay with the feeling long enough, it becomes a part of who you are, your identity, and it's stored in your body. So when you process what was stored in your body, use the same process to internalize the new money story. And when you internalize the new money story, you start to see that the things around you change. The things around you start to shift. Your experience with money start to change. More money stays now, and you have a better experience with money. And that's when you know that you're shifting. So how do you know you're shifting? The experience with money is going to massively change, because there is unlimited supply of money. It's all everywhere, and it's waiting to come into your bank account when you release the blocks and start to really activate your most abundant self. I hope that helps. Thank you.